John Franklin Reviewer here, and I'm going to review Sausage Party. Now, I did a couple of the trailer reviews. I really didn't like the trailers of it. I thought it looked stupid, talking food, constant swearing. It just looked like it was going to be very, very stupid. Well, my review of Sausage Party is next. Sausage Party. So what this is actually about, I mentioned this before, is it's actually about talking food who thinks they're going to go with us humans to the great beyond, and actually they're going to worship us. And well, it actually turns out the first person, or should I say the first condiment actually, was honey mustard. Well, the customer ends up buying it, comes back and realizes it was the wrong one, and the honey mustard is trying to warn everybody. Well, it turns out it doesn't really quite work out for that honey mustard, pretty much kills itself. But then the next person is Seth Rogan, Frank, which is Frank the hot dog. Now, he's a hot dog, not a sausage, but throughout the movie they keep calling him a sausage. Him and Brenda, voiced by Kristen Wiig, and a few new friends actually go on this little journey trying to figure out what's going on. They actually get left behind and they have to go figure out what in the world is going on here. Is this honey mustard crazy? Is he not crazy? Well, the thing is, like I said, Seth Rogen's Frank actually has to go figure this out, and he ends up actually meeting a few new people who actually know the truth of what's going on. And one of them was Fire Water, which is actually an alcohol drink, and they actually have like this kind of like hidden behind the shelves little hideout going on. Frank goes in talking to these guys, and they pretty much tell him the horrible truth of what really actually goes down. And unfortunately, no one's going to believe him. Not Brenda, not anybody else really believes him on this one. And I got to say, the voice acting was really well. The story was decent for what it was. The language was really... too much language was uncalled for. I mean, it had to have been over 100 fucks in this movie, if not even more. And this film was only like an hour, 22 minutes. I'm not disturbed about the F word, but I was definitely disturbed about the huge third act of what goes on. And it definitely was something that made me blush. I'm sure I'm not going to be the only one. Like I said, for it being a good story for what it was, now the whole thing really does take place in the grocery store. It seems like in one of the trailers it actually shows a woman in her house killing all the produce, eating up those baby corns, and you hear the whole, she's killing children, fucking children. That's only really like in one scene. So it's almost like they almost showed the entire thing in one of the trailers. It really all takes place in the grocery store. And then there is a villain who I think is a plunger or something like that. You know what? He was an asshole like he was supposed to be, but I could have actually done without him. But I can kind of see that there was points that they needed to have him in there. But again, I felt like they could have done something different, a better villain. One of my favorite characters, actually side characters, was actually a taco. And she actually did a good job. I can't remember who did the voice of that, but that was one of my favorites there. Like I said, I mentioned about the third act, very disturbing. Maybe they didn't have to say the F word as much as they did, because it really did lose its fizzle, I guess, on that. Story was okay. Voice acting, I said, was okay. Pretty cool in some of the stuff on there. I actually chuckled a little bit more than I expected myself to in this film. Surprisingly, I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, I am actually recommending this film to people. Now, of course, this is not a kid's movie. Just because it's a CGI cartoon does not mean this is a kid's movie. It's an R-rated movie. But for the adults out there, I am recommending this film. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, stay awesome.